Chris Williams, Chris Hassel. Two guys named Chris. Presented by Fairway Meat and Grocery. From the Channel Seed Studios, this is Iowa Everywhere.
What's going on? It is Selection Monday. We have selected what do we call Selection Monday?
I don't think it has a name.
Monday. Well, the women used to do
for the women,
show.
yeah. Bracket Monday. That's when everybody kind of starts filling out their brackets. I don't though. My guess is you've already filled yours out. Many people already have. I don't. I wait.
I do too. You and we're alike. John Miller and I talked about this last night. Miller had his filled out by the time we went on the air, like an hour after the selection show.
Yeah, I don't understand the people that just, as soon as we get the bracket, they just boom, fill it out.
I'll do mine Wednesday night.
Yeah, I'll probably do mine sometime Wednesday during the day. I think you learn more and more about the teams and the matchups as the week goes on. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to fill out multiple brackets. I'm not one of those guys that goes into multiple different bracket pools and fills out different brackets.
Yeah, I feel like those
one bracket are psychos. And stick with it.
Yeah, all or nothing. Why would you want to root for? That's why I quit playing fantasy football.
Yeah,
because
it's kind of the same thing.
If the Vikings are playing the Packers, I want to root against them. I don't want it to be based on if I have Aaron Rodgers on my fantasy team.
Right, and you end up with 2 different brackets or 3 different brackets. Some people not only will go into different bracket pools with a different bracket, some people will submit multiple brackets to the same pool.
Those people are psychos.
We are talking serial killer level bracket pooler.
I agree.
If you are submitting 2 separate brackets to the same pool.
There's a special place in hell for people.
Oh, it's my upset bracket, and this is what I really think. Just fill one bracket out, damn it.
Welcome to Two Guys Named Chris.
I only got 4 hours of sleep 2 nights ago, so I'm still.
Okay. It's funny. This is a first here on the program. I have an entire pot of coffee next to me because of the last. Yeah,
are you sipping out of the big pot?
No, pour it right into the mug. Yep. That's how my last week is gone. Now, you know how it is. Selection Sunday, well, in my line of work is crazy because like you
got to book your flights, you got to figure out where you're going.
Yeah.
It was like that, like in local TV when I worked at WHO. It was okay. It's not just where you're going. It's where, Keith Murphy's going, where John Sears is going, where Andy Sales is going, who's going to go where. Are we going to drive there? Are we going to fly there? What are the prices? You got to get right on it as soon as it comes out. And then as soon as it comes out, the prices skyrocket.
Well, we had a wrench too because the Iowa State women didn't get a home draw. So I had to figure out where I was sending Connor, and it's just like, oh God, like now our expenses are like ×3, but whatever. So yeah, it's a long, and we did a live Miller and Williams last night. If you guys want to go back and listen to John Miller's take on things, Jared and Jabo just released their reaction podcast this morning. So that's up on the Iowa Everywhere feed. Of course, you have us here for the next hour. So we're presented as always by our friends at Fairway Meat and Grocery in the Channel Seed Studios.
I'm just thinking ahead to the tip times and such. We normally do a show on Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Do you think we stick with that, or should we adjust?
I don't know. Thursday is going to be hard for me because Iowa State plays on Friday, and all the media stuff is Thursday. Mm-hmm. You know how that goes? They do the whole like meet. What we'll figure it out. We're not going to be able to do Thursday morning. I will be on East Coast time though. I'm going to be in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Okay.
Looking forward to getting some grits.
I'm just gonna be at home. I've got the weekend off, so I'm working Thursday in studio, but I'll be home. I'll get home just in time for the tip off between Fran McCaffrey and Bruce Pearl. I think that's a great draw for Iowa, by the way. I mean, you look at all the potential 8-9 seeds out there. I would
agree.
say Auburn is probably the weakest.
Well, I like everything about the draw for Iowa, other than one thing, and that is that you're looking at an elite defensive 3-point shooting team. Top 5 in the country. Auburn's number 5 in the country and lowering their opponent's 3-point shooting percentage. So in that essence, it's a bad matchup. But everything else about it, Hassel, if I were to tell you Iowa was going to draw a team that's lost 9 of 13
right
going into the tournament, you would have taken that in a heartbeat.
There is one other thing about it that goes against Iowa, and that's that it's in Alabama. It's in Birmingham, so it's going to be a pro-Auburn crowd, most likely. Although I don't know how juiced up their fans are after the way their season ended. And then you've got potentially Houston in the second round.
Won't Bama fans be there rooting for Iowa, though?
Yeah, yes, I think so. Yeah, Bama fans will definitely be rooting against Auburn. Houston in the second round, because that's where my eyes always go there, because with Iowa, it's all about the Sweet 16. And that's like our national championship. Houston did lose yesterday to Memphis, but they did not have perhaps their best player in Marcus Sasser. I haven't heard if he's going to be able to play in the NCAA tournament. It was kind of a game time decision in the championship game, and he ended up sitting that out. My guess is he'll be back ready to go. But if he does, they're a different team. And let's keep in mind, Houston has been the betting favorite to win the national championship all season.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where the odds stack up now after last night, after Houston lost to Memphis. They missed out on the number 1 overall seed, though I don't think they would have gotten it anyway. But Houston's been the betting favorite. Houston's been there, done that. They were in the Final Four 2 years ago. They were in the Elite Eight last year. So that gives you a little bit more hope in that they lost their last game. But let's not kid ourselves. That Houston team, you want to talk about defense and toughness, that's Houston. And they're going to be pissed after losing to Memphis, too, even though they didn't have their best player. They expected to win that game, and they didn't.
Pulling up the betting odds from Circa as far as the national championship goes. And yeah, I believe Houston is the odds-on favorite from what I can see still.
Houston was always all season long around plus 700.
So you're looking at plus 550 now. So
what? Wow, lower that much. Okay.
I saw plus a couple of other books had them at 450.
Wow. So who's behind them?
Circa does it in the yes/no thing. So I've got okay. Kansas is 800.
See, Kansas, I don't even think they have the best odds to win their own region.
Purdue is at 1,200. Give me 1 second here, and
my guess is Alabama has the second best odds to win it all.
Virginia is at 6,000. Give me a second. The Circa doesn't just list them all out. Matt has the actual point spreads from Circa completely pulled up. I know. Let me find Alabama real quick. Drake 30,000 to win. If you want to bet on the Bulldogs.
Auburn's favored by 1 against Iowa. That I see that as like a pick 'em. It's
Bama 800. So yeah, Houston is the odds on. They're the favorite still.
And maybe that I think that that's also going to bake in their potential path to the national championship. Which, if you're a Houston fan, you got 2 struggling 8-9 seeds going at one another. So I don't know that Iowa or Auburn scare you at all.
Well, I can't wait for Houston to join the Big 12 next year. Jeez.
Oh, my God. No kidding.
You think about that?
No kidding. I thought the worst possible draws for Iowa would have been in that 8-9 slot would have been Memphis, would have been FAU. I hate that they matched up Memphis and FAU. I feel like those are the 2 strongest 8-9 teams.
I wouldn't have wanted West Virginia either if I'm Iowa.
West Virginia was the other one for me too.
Yeah, because those
were the 3 teams that.
Yeah, it's in Iowa, like it really comes down to shot making. That's the only thing I don't like about this is because of Auburn's defense and the way that they defend the perimeter. So you look at this.
We've seen Iowa in games against good defensive teams
Rutgers comes to
still
mind.
put up points. Now, Rutgers, who just missed out on the NCAA tournament, which was a surprise to a lot of people who had Rutgers in. Iowa handled Rutgers both times. So I do think Andrew Downs has said this many times on the Murph and Andy show. It's less about the opponent for Iowa and more about how they're going to shoot the ball. If they don't shoot 40% from three-point range, they don't win. And I think you got the Wilson ball here in the NCAA tournament.
I was sitting with Stansbury. We were watching one of the Big 12 games, and he pointed out the stupid ball thing.
Yeah.
And but like Jared, like comes at it from like a player's perspective, and he like talks to these guys, and I guess it's just like slippery and stuff compared to. But I think Iowa State plays with it all the time. Like I don't.
I saw a bunch of conference tournaments where they played with the Wilson ball.
Yeah, they were in Kansas City all weekend. Stansbury pointed out to me that like there's just been more turnovers and stuff because guys are just like losing the ball. Not necessarily like poor shooting. They just can't hold on to the thing.
Connor McCaffrey can't slip in his great little post entry passes. It's too slippery. It's too slippery for him.
Oh, Jared's watching right there. He says it's because all the balls are brand new.
Well, interesting. So what? When you're playing with a Nike ball, you're playing with some old ball that they used in like last year?
Well, I think they like I don't. I think like when you're a home game or something, you pick the ball. So it's like one that I don't freaking know. I get so tired of the damn ball thing every year. Like just play the game, kid.
Yep, no excuses. Iowa got a good draw in the first round. You've got a team that's struggling even more than you. So, and it's a toss-up in Vegas, and even though Brent Funkhauser has Auburn by 40 in the comment section. And it's a good tip time, Thursday night. Everybody's going to be off work by then. For Iowa State, I love these tip times. Now, you have to take Friday off, or at least the afternoon off if you're a Iowa State fan, and then Drake at night on Friday. It's good stuff. What do you think about Iowa State's draw? I love it. I love it. The only thing I don't love is that they've got to play the winner of the Dayton game.
Feels like the Dayton people always go on a run.
Yes, there's always one team out of Dayton, 111 seed out of Dayton that will go on a run. Now, I just don't see Mississippi State or Pittsburgh being one of those teams.
Here's my deal. I'd rather play one of those teams than like Drake or Oral Roberts. No doubt in my mind.
That's a good point. That. Yes. That's a great point.
If it comes down to that, I like the draw. Here's my thing. I think I'm okay with Pitt. Mississippi State, though, like when you look at their metrics, and I haven't seen them play. Okay. I'm not like this Mississippi State savant. But they look just like Oklahoma State to me, who's like kryptonite for Iowa State. And this team can't score, but they're big and long and nasty on defense. And so I would rather play Pitt. They remind me more of like a Baylor, who Iowa State's had a lot of success against. They run up and down the floor. And I think that you could really – they're terrible defensively. They're like 130 adjusted defense. It's fine. I'm not going to say – I do think there's an aspect, Chris, where maybe if we're stretching here, it's really difficult to prepare yourself for the way Iowa State defends you. So maybe getting a team like that on a shorter –
Sure.
They have less scouting time for you. Because Iowa State is just going to do a full scout on both of these teams, right? So it really, on the surface you go, well, you don't know who you're playing, and that's a disadvantage. No, they're going to do a full scout today, and then you've got 3 days in between games. That's plenty of time to put in a really solid scouting report. My initial reaction was I hated it because every year we watch one of these damn 11 seeds get to the Elite Eight or something. That was my reaction to it. But the more I think about it, it's like
the other 11 seeds scare me more than Mississippi State and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, like I feel a lot worse right now if Iowa State was a 5 seed playing Drake or Oral Roberts.
Yeah, and they almost were.
Yeah.
Iowa State they just missed out on playing Drake.
Which I didn't want to see that because
Well,
then one of our
as an
teams
Iowa
is
State
eliminated.
fan, I wouldn't want to see it.
Oh no!
But I kind of wanted to see it because
for the drama, I get it.
Yeah, because Iowa State won't play Drake. Now you got all these other people say, "Well, yeah, they will. Yeah, we'll pay them to come to Ames, and we'll pay them to come to Iowa City. They won't take our check." No, that's not playing them. That's a buy game where you refuse to go to their arena and play them.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, as far as Iowa State's draw, though, so
I like Xavier in the second round.
I love that game. And the metrics say that Xavier might be like a 1.5 type favorite in that one. So you're basically looking at a toss-up game and to get to the Sweet 16. Sign me up for that every time.
Sure.
When you're a 6 seed, you don't have a lot of right to bitch about your draw, right? Like Iowa State lost that right when
you thought they'd be a 5 seed, though, didn't you?
I did. Yeah, I really did. So and you were probably right on our deal a couple weeks ago, because if they were a 6 after winning those Baylor games,
thank you,
they probably would have been an 8, I would think.
Hey, we got an
I don't
Iowa
think they would have
tie.
dropped to a 10.
We got an Iowa tie if they face Mississippi State.
Yeah, the head coach is from Iowa.
Yeah, Kirkwood, head coach. Went to Loras. He was a JUCO coach for a long time.
He's a guy I've heard that could potentially replace Fran someday.
He's done. I mean, he has come up the hard way. I mean, you're talking a coach at Kirkwood, and then Independence, and then Chipola. He won a national title there.
So you know,
got a job at
from
Bowling
Chipola.
Green. Won at Bowling Green. Then New Mexico State. They won a tournament game last year at New Mexico State. He left New Mexico State. Now that program is like dead. They canceled the second half of their season because there were so many issues.
Didn't somebody like kill somebody?
Well,
allegedly.
No.
There was like a murder on campus or something.
I'm pretty sure that was the football team, wasn't it?
Oh, okay. Well, something like that happened down at New Mexico State. No, Jerry Kill's the head coach there.
Yeah, you're right. No, you're right. Was it the basketball team when they went? It was whenever they played New Mexico, and God,
there was like a murder on campus the night before
on the New Mexico campus, and the coaches. You're right. It was the basketball team. The coaches knew that it involved a player on the basketball team. So for some reason the coaches were like, "All right, well, we better get in the bus and head on back to campus. Let's get out of here." And the cops rolled up on their bus.
Oh my God.
And pulled the whole bus over.
What a
on
nightmare.
Their way back to Las Cruces. So that was earlier on in the season. Then they had something else recently come up where they totally just shut down the rest of their season. They forfeited their last 8 games. But anyway, Jan's got the hell out of Dodge, and now he's at Mississippi State, where they overachieved this season.
Well, I think there's a crossover because TJ was at Chipola for a while before he came to Iowa State, as was Micah Byers, who's in the Iowa State program. So there's some sort of connection there. I haven't had time to do enough digging. But yeah, no, Jan's. So when we started hearing about Fran and Notre Dame, I started asking around about who Iowa could consider. And this was the guy who came up to me 4 times asking my people.
Stansbury says Jans gave TJ his first job in college hoops.
There you go. Yeah, I knew there was a long connection there. So that goes back 25 years.
I do have an update on the Fran Notre Dame situation.
Oh, let's hear it.
It ain't happening.
Okay. That's all right.
Breaking
news.
I've been told by 2 people, 2 different people who are close with people on the search committee who say he's not even an option. So it could just be looking for a little extension and pay raise again in Iowa State.
You can't give him another one.
Barta.
Watch Barta come out. They're going to lose in the first round, and Barta will give him a 5-year extension.
We'll find
We
out
want
that
to
it
lock
already
Fran
happened.
up through his 85th birthday.
We have locked Fran McCaffrey up. We gave him a burial plot at Carver. He's going to coach until he dies, and then we're burying him at midcourt. His grandkids are going to play for him.
We'll get to Drake. I mean this. Don't just say this. When you guys download the Circa Sports Iowa app, it helps us because they know that what we're doing is working, and I know it does because they've seen tremendous bumps since we launched Iowa Everywhere.
That's why they keep having us out there. You're heading out there in a couple weeks, right?
I'm going to be out there for the Sweet
Next
16.
week.
Me and John Miller and Maddie Van Winks.
Oh, my God, Williams. I was out in Vegas last week, and I stayed at the Four Seasons.
The Four Seasons?
Which is like one of the nicest, if not the nicest hotel on the Strip.
That sounds horrible.
I'm telling you, man. I go down. It's the hotel bar where they have lunch and dinner, and the cheapest cocktail was $25.
Jesus.
Miller Lite, $12.
How do those people sleep at night?
I don't know. I didn't. One day, like I was the day I got in, and the only way to get food in the hotel was to order room service, and I started looking at the charges that it would cost, and I just couldn't do it. It was going to be like $100 to order room service.
Unbelievable.
Like a sandwich and chips.
They don't get that at Circa.
No.
Circa. You literally walk up to the bar. The owner of the place is sitting there.
He's sitting there in a cowboy hat.
Yeah.
What can we get you? I'll take a Heineken the size of my head. All right, $3.
No, I had those buddies of mine who they went and watched an Iowa State game a couple weeks ago. That's Elise.
Is she all right?
Yeah, she's fine. Yeah. We'll get to kid drama here in a minute. No, my buddy, he's always been a Strip guy, and he went to Circa to watch the Iowa State game.
A Vegas Strip or a Strip club guy?
Probably both, but a Vegas Strip one.
Or a landing strip guy.
And he hung out at Circa for the whole day. He likes to roll craps, likes to shoot craps.
Yeah, I've never done. I don't know how that works. I've never.
I don't either.
It always looks fun in the movies.
But we completely swapped him. Like, he's never staying on the Strip again. He's like, holy shit, I didn't even know that this existed.
Yeah.
So anyway,
it's nice because you can go if you want to. You can go to the Strip.
Yeah, I don't know why you want to, but if you wanted to, you could.
You were in your element there at Circa. You're harassing all the old ladies.
Yeah, that's where my vibe, man. I can just feel it when I get in.
Williams is going up to these old ladies, telling them that they're hot. Oh, you're looking great tonight, sweetie. And then he's
they love
trying to tell me at the same time. He's like, I'm an extreme introvert. What? What the hell are you talking about?
Until I get a few whiskeys in me. No introvert there.
By the way, it's iced coffee, folks. It's not tea. It's iced coffee. Pappy on the rocks.
Hold on one second.
Pappy Van Hoodwinked.
Need to fill up my coffee here real quick.
Now, why are you so tired? Because you've traveled.
Well, I've been in Kansas City all week, and then
last night, where I've been in the last week? In the last 9 days, I've been to Charlotte, Vegas, and Dallas.
Nice.
And now I'm back home. I got 4 hours of sleep 2 nights ago. I got 11 hours of sleep last night to try to catch up, and I'm still not caught up.
Jesus.
That spring
I've been getting like 5 hours
of
sleep, and then last night, so I've done this is my 4th show since the brackets came out. Plus, I'm planning all the Cyclone Fanatic stuff, planning everything this week for Iowa Everywhere. It's just it's a lot. It's fun. This is my favorite time of year because I'm actually doing things that I really like doing, but it's just a lot of work, and that's fine. It's fine. I'm very blessed to do it. It's a lot. What does your old John Rothstein say? We sleep in April. I think that's a good saying.
I think he says May. because
Okay,
April
May.
is the Final Four.
We sleep in May, whatever. Drake. So Drake's in the same bracket. I don't like their draw either. I think I like Iowa first, maybe better than the others, but I've seen this Miami team because Iowa State played them in the Sweet 16 last year.
Right.
And it's basically the same team. And I just
they made the Elite Eight after beating Iowa State.
Here's
and
the thing.
They've been pretty good all season.
Yeah, and I know Drake can win this. They're only a 2.5 point underdog now. So like and the money is coming in on Drake. Right.
Well, here's the question that I have. Is Miami a veteran team?
Yes.
Oh. See, I
I
was hoping for Drake to get matched up with a young, talented team.
Miami's a veteran team that runs up and down and shoots it, and like it's not anything like Drake doesn't present anything that Miami isn't used to. Miami does the same thing that they like to do. They're just bigger and they have better athletes. So like again, there's a reason that they're only a 2.5 point dog. Bulldogs have won 16 of 18. This is almost a toss-up as far as Vegas is concerned. I just don't like the matchup because I think Miami's a team built for the tournament. This is one team that I wouldn't have. If I'm Drake, I would have much rather seen Iowa State on the 5-12 game. I'll put it that way.
ACC was down this year, but it's a team that won the ACC regular season.
Yeah, and then they lost to Duke, and Duke is surging at the end of the year. I'd be interested to see what their odds are to win the thing. Again, the Drake thing, listen, the 5-12 upsets, they happen all the time. But having seen this Miami team up close in person, they're really good. They shoot the shit out of it. They are long. They have an elite veteran head coach. I don't really think I'll probably pick the Bulldogs to come out of that one, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's too bad that they got a veteran team like that. I didn't look at the other fives to see. I guess it would have been interesting to see them play Duke, even though Duke is surging right now. But Duke is a really young team.
San Diego State.
Yeah, they're
and St. Mary's. VCU, St. Mary's, that's your 12-5 upset, by the way. Boom, calling it now. I like VCU a lot.
Yeah, I saw St. Mary's last year, and they have a lot of the same players, and they've beaten Gonzaga. They won the regular season and then lost to Gonzaga in the championship of the tournament.
You seen Charleston?
But no, I have not. But all they do is win, win, win.
No matter what.
What?
Money on their mind.
I do like that VCU pick. VCU is, I think they're undervalued. They got it done against Dayton in the regular season and in the tournament, winning both in the A-10. This is the first time in like almost 20 years that the A-10 didn't get multiple teams in.
Wow. I didn't know that. That's incredible. The A-10, it's really fallen off.
They usually get at least 2, sometimes 3 or 4. And they just didn't have it this season. Dayton didn't do enough in the non-con.
What about Des Moines potentially getting Texas versus Texas A&M?
Yes.
Could you? That is awesome. If you're watching this or listening to this and you have tickets to Wells Fargo for the NCAA tournament, that will be epic. And go Aggies.
Now, they are going to be in the same conference again soon.
Yes. But there's not a lot of secret about how much Texas A&M still despises them based on, they tried to block Texas from getting into the SEC. They're the ones that leaked that whole story. Do you remember that? It was it was like a Texas A&M version of Cyclone Fanatic that broke a lot of that.
Giga-Maggies?
Tex Ags, I believe. Or actually, you know what? I'm wrong. It was the Houston Chronicle, but Tex Ags was all over it too.
It was a
blog. But my point is,
it was either the Houston Chronicle or some blog. I don't know.
Now, Tex Ags is not a blog. They're worth more than all of us combined. Like, that's the biggest fan site in the country. But point being, it was people at Texas A&M leaking it to the media because they were trying to get it stopped so that Texas couldn't get to the. Those two teams hate each other. And it also is interesting because it potentially sets up a Tyrese Hunter Iowa State matchup in the Sweet 16. We can't get rid of the guy. He's everywhere. Winning the Big 12. Yeah. He's coming to Des Moines.
How about that Midwest region? By the way, speaking of Texas A&M, there's a loyal listener to the program because he's my best friend from high school. His name is John. He was so excited when our gear came out. He ordered an extra large Iowa Everywhere shirt, Two Guys Named Chris shirt, and he said, "I'm telling you, this is a small." It just says extra large.
That's an extra large.
Put on, and he looks like he's in sausage casing.
He looks like Otzelberger.
Yes, it does look like. It looks like he's wearing one of TJ's game shirts. He said that's an extra large. He's my size. He's 6'2". He's bigger than me, thicker. But look at it. It only goes down like barely past his short waistband.
I'm just glad it's him and not me.
What is going on?
I think he should just send it back, and our friends at Ray Gun will take good care of him. We'll get him taken care of. We'll get you taken care of, John.
Oh my God.
Van Winkle's pulling up a bunch of Otzelberger Speedies here. The guy just loves it. Oh, it's incredible.
Yeah, we got to get TJ an extra small Iowa Everywhere shirt. See what he looks like in that.
Let's get him a women's promo for us. Do you think
get him
Fran
would? Size. What?
Do you think we could get Fran a shirt?
We could. It would go in the trash can.
I bet Darren DeVries would wear one. He's a good guy. He likes us, I think.
Yeah.
He's come on my show all the time. He's a great guy.
Another one of Fran's replacements, if he can talk his way into that Notre Dame thing.
Yeah, I heard those two guys. And those were really the big ones. I mean, DeVries to me is the obvious. Fran's not going anywhere. It's a stupid conversation to have. But the Jans things is interesting because they got the Iowa State drop.
Right.
Right. Couple other things that I circled. I hate that Creighton and Baylor will have to play in the second round if they advance, because those are two of my guys, Scott Drew and Greg McDermott. Creighton would beat Baylor. I think Baylor has problems after seeing them up close, watching their shoot around, spending a little time around them. I think they've got like actual problems. I don't think this is a deal.
It's not just an Iowa State thing.
I don't think so. Just my now they're good enough, and their guards are good enough. They could totally get to the Final Four. But
yeah, they do so well in tournament settings under Scott Drew.
And Drew's one of the best. Well, he's top 5 in the country, right? He'd have to be.
In what?
Top 5 coach in the country.
Yeah, he's got a national championship now. They got bounced in the second round last season as a 1 seed to North Carolina, who went on to the Final Four. But all right, I'll take that. I'll take that under consideration. Baylor is in trouble. I think Creighton's better than a 6 seed.
I do too. They had some big time chemistry issues early in the year, and they appear to have gotten them figured out. Well, everybody's on the Marquette train. Are you on the Marquette train at all? Everybody's talking about them.
I wasn't until I saw what they did in the Big East tournament. Man, they just rolled through that. They were, what were they? I bet against them in, what was it, the semifinals of the Big East tournament against UConn. UConn was like a 4 or 5 point favorite. And Dave Zabalinski said, lock of the millennium, UConn. And I think Shaka Smart knew that UConn was a sizable favorite. Did you see his reaction after the game when they won it? Man, he went nuts. And then they just destroyed Xavier.
It's fun to watch Shaka too, because it's like he stayed at VCU forever, finally waited and pounced on that Texas. And that's not a fun place to coach, Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Like the pressure, and he was there when they still had the shitty arena. Like it just, you feel like he's finally back to the point in his career where he's Shaka again, where he's the guy that we all kind of fell in love with, making those runs in the Sweet 16. He kind of lost that vibe when he was in Texas. It's fun to see.
Yeah, you can't really be that energetic underdog when you're the head coach at Texas.
No, everybody hates you.
Unless you are the guy that was the assistant coach who got promoted to head coach when your head coach got fired. That's what they have right now.
Shaka. Did you see the Pitino Texas Tech rumors?
No. But isn't it Pitino against UConn in the Garden?
Yeah, but there are already reports that Pitino's going to be the next head coach at Texas Tech once it's over.
Ooh, that would be spicy.
So the theory, the underground talk in Big 12 circles is that this Yormark, in his vision, is to be the SEC of basketball.
Okay. So like the best basketball conference and just
expand,
hang your hat on that,
expand around that. So I like the theory.
What do you mean? Like Gonzaga, and
you could do basketball only members. So you keep your football members at 12 or whatever it comes to, but then you add Gonzaga, Arizona would be ideal from those Pac-12 schools.
No kidding.
Right. And then I've heard that he has serious eyes on some Big East schools because he's obsessed with like New York City. So even like talking like Villanova, St. John's, some of those types of teams. But that's interesting because if you know their history, I'd be really interested to know if they would break off from the other Catholic schools.
Yeah. And that things didn't go well when they split up the Big East the first time around.
Correct.
When they like got rid of that conference. It's back. Like that league is awesome now. The Big
If I was the Big East schools, I wouldn't go to the Big 12. That doesn't make any sense. I wouldn't even do it if I was Gonzaga. Screw that. Like I'm going to win this league every year. They're basically like an independent. They can do whatever they want out there. Like, why would you go to the Big 12? Now you're traveling nonstop. It's just for what? A few more $1 million. They're not going to get the full check because
you're getting no football money.
I wouldn't do it. I also wonder too if the Big 12 that they're not playing the round robin next year, if that will hurt their metrics. Because they're so dominant right now.
I love the round robin.
I know it's gonna suck.
You just don't get that with major conferences anymore because they're so goddamn big.
I'm already annoyed. Like next year, Iowa State doesn't play Texas Tech. Is that a big deal? Nah, probably not. But like you've played Texas Tech every year for the last however many years. It's like you're used to it now.
Yeah.
Oh, great. You get to go out to Provo. I mean, well, it's interesting, I guess, but I like the round robin.
Yeah, I'm with you. Speaking of Yormark, what the hell's up with the Big 12 women's tournament?
Oh my God.
Congratulations to Iowa State, by the way. Great run to the women's championship.
That was a blast.
It's too bad. That's the last time they're playing in that old Muni arena.
I've covered, I don't know how many tournaments there, at least 10. And I've gotten lost in that building every single time. And the thing about that building,
you get bitten by a mouse.
There's like a million things going on in that building. Okay.
Because running around.
There's like
downstairs.
Conference areas. There's theaters. It's a massive building. It's not just a basketball course.
I think that's where they say when you lose your driver's license and you have to go to class to get your license back, that they send you in there.
Well, the thing about that building is, so I went there. I left the men's game with like 5 to go because I thought they were going to lose on Friday night, so I could get to the women's game by the end of the first quarter when they were playing Baylor. And I just walked in the media area completely unchecked. There was nobody checking bags, credentials. Anybody could have walked in there. And then you walk around this building, and again, like it's probably the largest building I've ever been in as far as like nooks and crannies, and there's a hallway and here's an elevator. None of the workers know where to send you at all. How do I get to the media room? I don't know. How do I get to the court? You got to go down there and you take a right, and then you got to take a left, and then you're going to take another right, and then there's an elevator. What level? Like nobody has a clue. It takes me 30 minutes to find the court every time I walk into that place.
And you've only been there 15 times.
Yeah. Well, it's so you get turned around. There's different entrances.
Look at that thing. Just a concrete
like
behemoth.
A bomb shelter.
And the court is on the level 4.
It is a little bit like Madison Square Garden because you have to take an
weird.
elevator up.
Yeah, it's so weird, but it's the perfect setting for a women's tournament.
It is, and I'm really bothered by this. Like,
it's got that old school charm to it.
I had a conversation with somebody in the Big 12, and I know that they don't care what I think, but I was going to tell them anyways. Like, just from a pure media perspective,
hey, Mr. Yormark, what the fuck you doing?
Like, I was there for these games, covering them, extra exposure, all that stuff. And I'm not a big deal. But the point being, and I'm a huge women's basketball fan, I won't be there next year.
No, how you can't? You're going to spend 2 weeks in Kansas City?
You can't do it. They're going to get less coverage.
I know Iowa fans are going to say, well, look what we did in Minneapolis this year. We filled up that. It's okay. It's different. This is a once-in-a-lifetime player that Iowa has in Caitlin Clark, who's transcended the game. Let's see what happens 5 years down the road.
Yeah.
When she isn't there. Let's see how things change. When they start playing that thing in DC,
nobody's going to go.
No.
And it just sucks because I've talked to women on Iowa State's team and it's different. And I have to acknowledge the bias here because they're basically getting like a home game. So they love it. But I said, would you rather have like super nice locker rooms and play in T-Mobile or play here in front of a ton of fans and have terrible locker rooms? And every one of them says, we don't care about locker rooms. We want to play in the atmosphere. We want to play in front of fans. And I would guess a lot of those Texas players that lost to Iowa State yesterday, that's a fun environment to play in.
Yeah.
You put many people, now you're going to cut it. You're going to put a fourth of that many people into T-Mobile. It's not even the weekend
of that many people into a much larger arena. And so that compounds the problem. It's going to make it look and feel even worse.
My level of where I get annoyed is I understand the purpose and I understand wanting the women to have the same opportunities and I get it. And I think we all should fight for that. But you also have to acknowledge that the women's game and the men's game are not the same thing. And don't take my word for it. Look at TV ratings. Look at everything in the WNBA compared to it's not the same thing. But if you want to keep building the women's game, use the men's game to grow it.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of people that came from that Iowa State men's game walking up the street the other night, the second half atmosphere was insane in the Municipal. And I know it. Like, I got receipts. I got people tweeting at me that the first time they've ever been to a women's game was when they were in Kansas City, and then they get hooked on it, and now they have season tickets. But there's this faction of women's basketball that wants to be exactly the same as the men because equality tells us to do so. And I'm trying to live in a real world where how can we use the men's game to grow what the women are doing?
Right. Piggyback.
Yeah.
Because that's what it's been able to do. It's been able to piggyback off the men, and that helps grow the sport.
Mm-hmm.
Because, oh, wow, there's okay, Iowa State men lost, but the women are still going. We're going to stay in Kansas City for an extra night. We're going to walk over to the game tonight and see the women, support them. If you do this a week before the men, and you won't even have that opportunity. You won't have that. You won't have all those people there just waiting to do something else.
They're not even doing it like the weekend, though, Chris. It's like a midweek tournament, like where the championship's going to be on like a Monday or Tuesday night.
Oh, geez. So is it going to be in Kansas City every year?
Well, for now, but I think that I'd be shocked if that's the case long term. I
don't understand these commissioners who want to move these things around all the time.
Yeah, just screw up.
I mean, I know what they're doing. We know what they're doing. But you ask anybody in the Big Ten, that tournament should be played in Indianapolis every year.
No doubt.
Anybody that covers that thing. Remember when the Big 12 moved that thing out of Kansas City for a while? It was terrible.
This is how bad it is, Chris. Where was the Big Ten this year? Was it Chicago?
It was in the men's were they were in Chicago. The women were in Minnesota.
I don't even know.
So
that's a problem.
The reason that the women were able to set all those records attendance wise is because you had all these Iowa fans wanting to go, and the tournament was in Minnesota, so you could drive right on up there. But they're going to be spreading this thing all around. I heard, and I know Kevin Warren's leaving, but I heard him say during I think it was on Big Ten Network during the men's tournament, he's like, this opens the door for, we're going to play in DC, and they're going to go out to LA and play. They're going to be playing at Staples Center for the Big Ten tournament at some point.
I'm just dreading your Mark moving this freaking thing to the Madison Square Garden, and I will freak out.
Oh,
I will lose my goddamn mind the day that happens.
The Barclays Center, yeah.
Oh my God. Oh, we got to get we're a national conference. We got to be a national conference. Oh yeah, nobody there cares. I promise.
Does Circa have a ballroom where they could put a court? Because everybody's going to Vegas for these conference tournaments now. There was a conference tournament. So the Four Seasons is like inside Mandalay Bay. Kind of like the Four Seasons has its own, like the lobby and all that is its own.
That's how they do it in the Bahamas.
Your room is in the Mandalay Bay. And Mandalay Bay has a arena where I believe that's where the WAC tournament is held. We got to get Circa's got to get one of these tournaments.
Maybe we could call it.
What?
Maybe we could broadcast it live on Iowa.
Yeah. Yes.
Van Wink's running the camera. We're just a one-camera crew here. Speaking of Van Wink's.
Where is Van Wink, by the way?
So Van Wink's has the hand, the foot, and the mouth disease.
What?
You ever gotten that before? Did you have it when you were a kid?
Hand, foot. I thought it was hoof and mouth disease.
The hand.
And don't you get that from a horse?
The hand, the foot,
the hoof and mouth,
and the mouth.
Hang on a second.
These snot-nosed kids, man.
What were they playing with horses? How'd they get that?
Daycare.
Freaking daycare, man.
You got to wait, but this is a horse disease, correct?
Incorrect. So I went through this.
Is hand, foot, and mouth different than hoof and mouth?
I think hoof and mouth might just be like slang term for hand, foot, and mouth. I honestly don't know. I got it though. Like when Cammie was like 2, when you get it as an adult, it's immensely worse, and you lose your fingernails and toenails.
What?
Yeah, just fall off. I told Matt's like, oh, I don't have it that bad. I go, talk to me in 2 weeks, bro. Your fingernails are going to start peeling off. Day by day, you'll lose a new nail every day.
Oh, here, I just looked it up. Foot and mouth disease is a severe and highly contagious viral disease. The foot and mouth disease virus causes illness in cows, pigs, sheep, goats, deer, and other animals with divided hooves.
I'll be damned, I didn't know that.
Do you have hooves?
Where did this?
Is that why your fingernails fall off? Because they fall off your hooves? Is it a hoof or a hoof?
I don't know why, but it's a really odd feeling when your fingernails start to fall off.
That would be like one of my worst nightmares because
you would just be losing your mind.
As everyone who's close to me knows, my fingernails are actually my greatest trait.
Oh wow. Those are beautiful.
I have incredible fingernails. And I don't even do anything.
Hand in general. It's silky. It's smooth.
Yeah.
It's delightful. Have you ever thought about being a hand model?
What's going on with the tips there, though? They're a little red.
Yeah. Yeah. You see that?
Yeah. What the hell is wrong with
I
you?
was digging rocks in my backyard.
You were digging?
Yeah. This was a couple weeks ago. I was digging up rocks with gloves on, and I got these blood blisters underneath my fingers. And
so they're not that nice.
Well, those aren't my nails. See, this is my other side. Those aren't my nails, though. Those are my fingers underneath my nails.
Why are you showing us just the tip?
You want to see the whole thing? There it is. Now,
have you ever thought about being a hand model?
Yeah, I'm blanking on the name. The guy that loved his hand too much. What was his name?
Was it LeBron? It wasn't LeBron.
No, God, how I used to use this line on.
Lost.
I used to use this line on SportsCenter. Oh, what was it? The guy that his hands were Ray McKigney. Ray McKigney. He God, what was the line? The Ray McKigney line from because George became a hand model.
Mm-hmm. And you wore the muffin or the mittens around.
And the guy, the people, the hand model people were like, I haven't seen hands like these since Ray McKigney. But Ray McKigney had a problem.
He was not master of his own domain.
No woman could match his love for his own hand. And they said they're basically implying that he used his hand on himself so much that he became decrepit. Like his hand became decrepit. They were like, they locked up.
We got to do in the off season, you and me and Fails do the Seinfeld trivia night here on Iowa Everywhere.
Yes.
Oh, it'd be epic.
I remember we played that about 12, 13 years ago at Fails' house in Des Moines, and I kicked your ass. I kicked both your asses.
That was that Seinfeld Opoly game, and you're so much like at the mercy of like what you spin and stuff. I want real trivia. Like I want real. Because it's like Monopoly. It's like, well, if you don't land on Boardwalk, you don't have it. I want real trivia.
Well, so are you going to design your own?
Completely drunken and out of control, and he was like the moderator. He was out of his mind that night.
Are you going to make Van Winkle, Hoof and Mouth Van Winkle, design like a Seinfeld trivia game just for you?
I think it'd be great. Matt, we could pull that off, right? We do it on like a Saturday night and invite people to join us. We'll have like a cocktail hour watching you and me and Fails do Seinfeld trivia. Sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, I'd be in for that. As long as you don't skew the questions toward yourself.
Says Ray McKigney with the oversigned Grady Dick. Do you think Grady Dick, like at this point, is like I don't know. It's just the guy gets shit so much. It's kind of like Boy Named Sue, Johnny Cash to me. Like he's got to be a tough son of a bitch at this point.
Yeah,
having the last name Dick.
He's hardened. He's definitely hardened. Dick definitely is hardened. He's a part of that tough last name club.
Yeah.
I went to school with a girl in elementary school. Her name was Amanda. And didn't think anything about her name. And we went to separate middle schools. And then once I saw her again in high school, her name was different. She changed her name to Laurie. And
like that was her first name?
Yeah, Laurie.
Okay. Laurie.
And so her name was Amanda Dew. D-E-W. Amanda Dew. I didn't think anything of it. And she changed it to Laurie Dew because a man to do. Apparently, she was getting a lot of and so she changed her name to Laurie. Now maybe that was her middle name. I don't know, but that's what she went by because of that.
She should have changed her name to Mulva.
Mulva. What was it?
Dolores.
Mulva. Gipple? Is it Gipple?
Cest. Let's try breast. Cest. Mulva. All right. Well, we are going to figure this out. and we'll tell you guys when our next
Figure
show
what
is.
out?
When we're gonna do our next
show. Yeah, because I'm wondering.
Maybe we should just do Friday night after all the games.
Yeah.
Honestly,
well,
like
geez, that's late though. That's
yeah.
late.
I don't.
What
I don't
time
know
is
what-
Drake's game? I guess we could do it. We could just say screw Drake and do it after the Iowa State game because that Iowa and Iowa State would be done.
Yeah.
Late
We'll play
afternoon.
it by ear. The good news is, so we do have. I think Jared and Jordan are going to do another one. Yeah, so we really don't need to do one before because those guys are going to do a second show this week with all the bracket stuff. I already have one out.
We have to have in-depth ball talk from those guys. Yes. I want to hear everything about this Wilson ball and why Iowa struggles with it.
Drake 6:24 on Friday, according to Van Weeks.
Yeah,
so Iowa State will get done, and then Drake will be tipping off about an hour and a half after that.
Yeah. All right, we'll see. I would guess either Friday before the Drake game or Friday after the Drake game. We would do
you got to realize I'm on site, so it's going to be tough for me on Friday. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Tough for you on Friday because you're in Greensboro.
Yeah, I've already. Actually, you'll like this. I've already done a when I was lying in bed, put my kid to bed last night. I was doing a research on different haunted locations in Greensboro to go and investigate.
You're unbelievable.
It's what I do every NCAA tournament. I go on hunts.
No,
Greensboro is perfect because these old East Coast cities. Oh my God, there's so many spirits.
Why don't you try going to Europe? Like go to Italy, where some buildings you walk in are 10,000 years old.
There's a place. Hey, Matt, real quick, Google haunted Greensboro locations. And there's like this haunted house / like club that's there that looks earmuffs, kids.
What do you mean?
Fucking crazy.
What do you mean?
All I could think.
Like you're dancing with the ghosts? The ghosts are grinding on you?
Haunted house / like bar
ghost
that has like
twerking?
shows. It is the craziest place I've ever seen in my life. It's called, here we go, Woods of Terror, where you walk around and these people, like these zombies and ghosts, you can just get a beer.
What is wrong with you?
Do you want to go here? Look at that lady. Oh.
Why the hell would you want this?
It gets great reviews.
Yeah, from people like you. Not from normal people.
Did you see that clown?
I thought you wanted to go and find like real ghosts.
Look at that clown.
These are people dressed up as like crazy movie murderer. These aren't ghosts.
Matt wants to know what's the best one. Probably Milwaukee. I had firsthand reports of actual ghosts in a hotel room from Adam Gray. Do you know Adam Gray?
Adam Gray had a ghost in his hotel room?
Yes. And he doesn't even believe in ghosts. And he had like a real ghost in his hotel room.
What happened?
The TV kept going on and off and doors kept slamming and he was in an actual haunted. Look up Milwaukee. It's one of the most haunted cities in the country. Tulsa was good.
Why is Milwaukee so haunted?
I don't know.
What makes for in your demented mind? What makes for a haunted city?
Well, it's got to have history, you know. Like Bondurant's probably not haunted. There's not a lot of history here. We haven't been around that long.
I bet there were Indians that were there for a long time.
Death, you know, a really good haunted place are like asylums where people have been tormented. Where people have
where your grandpa was the warden?
Yeah, and that place is haunted as shit.
What did your grandpa do to those people?
Well, he was the warden, so he
was
didn't
he the one
do it, but he paid other people.
I bet he would tie those people up and zap them because that's what they did back in the day. Yeah. You would tie, if you were insane, if you had mental problems, they would tie your ass to a bed and zap the hell out of you. That's what they did.
You think my grandfather was doing this to people?
Yes. You don't think he was?
No, he paid people to do that. He didn't do it. He's the warden.
Okay, well, his co-workers did that. He oversaw the zapping.
That place.
He was like, oh, wait, let's see. Okay, Maribeth Crankridge. Maribeth Crankridge has gone insane. Her husband sent her in here. What do we think, Warden? 4 zaps or 5? Give her 6. Bite down on this bar of soap.
They used to do that because you're right, because they'd try and like snap him back into shape.
Yes, that's what they did. They did it. My grandpa got zapped like back in the 50s or 60s.
Really?
Yeah, he was like depressed, and they sent him into one of your grandpa's insane asylum, and they told him to bite this bar of soap, and they zapped the hell out of him.
Why a bar of soap? Why didn't you get like a rope or something? Like the bar of soap seems
I
a little
don't
bit.
know. They probably just passed, the prison and the insane asylum are right next to each other. So they passed the bar of soap from the prison to the insane asylum. So you drop the bar of soap at the prison, they'll pick it up, bring it over to the insane asylum, bite down on the bar of soap, and they just kind of go around and around.
Julie's watching on YouTube. She notes that the Farrar School is haunted, reportedly. I've been to the Farrar School, and I can confirm. Very different when you walk in there. It's a very different feel. Now, Tulsa had some great haunts. Milwaukee probably was the best. Have you ever heard of the old Pfister?
I've heard of fisting. I've never heard of the old Pfister.
The old Pfister Hotel in Milwaukee. Google that one. There's MLB teams and players who refuse to stay there because it's so haunted. The old Pfister.
You get the haunted proctologist who sticks his entire fist up there.
I think it was Prince Fielder. He used to play in Milwaukee, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's like done like he's talked about this, the old Pfister. Why don't you marry her?
Oh man. We know it's gone off the rails when we start talking ghosts with you.
All right, get to work. There's the Pfister. I've had a lot of cocktails in there because I like to sit at the Pfister bar when we're in Milwaukee, and I just like to sit still.
Instead of a stool, it's just a fist, and you sit on it. That's why they call it the old Pfister.
We got a couple of guys, English and Hardesty, are saying that the Hotel Julian in Dubuque has mob ghosts. It's like old mobsters.
Oh, yeah?
I love how Chris Hardesty's avatar is a 0 sugar Dr. Pepper, strawberries and cream. That's the greatest soda of all time. It just surpassed the Dr. Pepper cream soda mix, 0 sugar. The one that our friend Zubin and you were. Didn't Zubin do like a commercial for them?
I did. And then Zubin went to the grocery store and took a picture.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that's what it was. Zubin, yeah. It's the greatest soda in the world. All right, we got to get out of here. Hassel's got to go. You're on NBC or not NBC, Jesus, CBS all week.
Yes, I got the Spotlight show on CBS Sports Network each afternoon.
That'll be good too, because we'll probably just be doing a ton of NCAA tournament, right?
Look at Van Wink. He's got the hoof and mouth, and he's still using those hooves to dial up greatness.
Beautiful. Well, you can go and buy some of that.
They call Van Winkle the old Pfister because his fingernails fell off, his fingers got taped together, and all he had was fists.
You can buy Dr. Pepper cream soda,
Pfister,
0 sugar at Fairway.
Ah,
boom!
Good little segue there.
Mike, following it up, I am downright proud to be an Iowa Everywhere subscriber.
Hell yeah!
Thank you, Mike. We're ending the show on that. We'll be back at some point this week. I promise. Thanks for listening. Download our other great shows, Jared and J-Bo, Miller and Williams. We'll have the hook later on this week and a lot more. Thanks for listening. Williams here signing off from the Channel Seed Studio.